afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime series with Kevin Britz, proudly powered by Leadership by Design, where we aim to add value to people's lives. You can catch us live every Wednesday and Thursday on Lunchtime on ebizradio.com, where we talk everything leadership, coaching, and marketing. And you can listen to us on the Lunchtime series on all your major podcast channels today. Joining me today, we have a certified professional coach and learning and development professional, Holly Louise Irasubiza. Is that correct?
Correct.
How are you doing? Welcome to the show and thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Kevin. It's so nice to be in your space. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you could be here. So, Holly, when we first chatted, one of the conversations that we often chat about on the show is leadership and coaching. But before we go straight into that, don't you want to just tell us a little about who you are, where you come from, and because you're not from South Africa, and just give us some background of who you are and how did you end up becoming an actual coach? What's the short version of that?
What an interesting story. Thank you for giving me space. My name's Holly Louise Irasubiza. I'm Rwandan. I'm from Rwanda, Kigali. I'm currently working with the National Bank of Rwanda as a senior officer in charge of learning and development. Like you said, Kevin, I'm a certified professional coach, specialized in learning and development, and also qualified mentoring program manager. It's interesting because when I was young, I wanted to be a medical doctor. Yeah, I love people. I love supporting people. And as I was growing up, my parents and people in my community kept saying I would make a good doctor. So I grew up with that passion of becoming a medical doctor. Unfortunately, along the way, our education systems changed. And instead of going to biochemistry areas that would enable me to continue into medical school, I went for maths, physics, geography.
Yeah.
And so I had to make another choice. So I was like, which other profession can I do now that I can't get into medical school? So I was like, since I can't be able to treat people, maybe if I did business administration, I'll be able to support businesses. At home, we had people in the neighbors who were not able to afford medical care.
Yeah.
So I always ask my mom, like, why do people in the hospital have to charge people to afford or to get medical services? Everybody deserves to live. Everybody deserves to have a healthy life. I didn't understand why people have to pay for medical services. And sometimes a parent would have a sick baby and they would come home to ask if they have some leftover medicine to treat their child. And when my mom didn't have the medicine, then she would give them money. And if she doesn't have money to give them to take their baby to the hospital, you can imagine what would happen. So I think also that motivated me to want to be a medical doctor so that I won't have to charge people when they come to me when they're sick. So when I went to the university and I could not go to medical school, I tried to find a way to align other professions with my passion for health equity.
Yeah.
So I thought if probably I did business, I would educate people to do their business as well so that they won't have to struggle accessing some of the basic services, or teach people how to make money so that they can be able to afford those services. So I decided to go into business school. And after that, after graduating my undergrad, I was retained to teach, which was good because now I was educating people on
Yeah.
financial education, and also having some projects with the community around. I was in Uganda, equipping business people with some of the financial education basics so that they can be able to keep their businesses, grow, and be able to have impact on the community, which translates into affording some of the services, including healthcare. So after some time, when I graduated my master's degree, I got an opportunity to go into Global Health Core Fellowship, which was an opportunity for me now to serve the cause that matters most to me, bringing healthcare services to the vulnerable populations in rural areas. I was working with Partners in Health. And after my fellowship year, then I transitioned into leadership and development role. So when I look back into all that I've gone through, then I was like, I think I need to find something that can help me to help people unlock their full potential.
Yeah.
And not just because I'm into learning and development, but I've always been looking after that. What can I do? How can I use my skills, my personalities, and all other resources that I have to support people development? So that's how I landed into the coaching space. And having been into the coaching, it helped, and combining it with my passion for people development, my teaching, and all research and development skills, I'm able to deliver to the bank in support of learning and development, leadership development, and also being able to bring coaching to the people that I work with. I hope that helps.
What a wonderful evolution. And even though it's not medical, I relate to this conversation because I wanted to become a psychologist when I was younger, but I didn't have the marks for it.
Wow.
I didn't want to study for 12 years. So I was like, oh, that's a bad idea. But
Yeah.
coaching came along, and other certifications and things that you could do. But I mean, it's beautiful that essentially we get to help people, and that's what we're going to be speaking about: fostering authentic leadership and harnessing personal development for professional success. So why is on just to kick it off, why is authentic leadership crucial in today's professional landscape? And not only but in today's professional landscape, but specifically in Africa.
Yeah, so authentic leadership is, maybe you can define that. What is authentic leadership?
Authentic leadership, yeah. There's so many ways to define that, yes.
Yeah. So I think my definition of authentic leadership is a leadership style that is characterized by individuals acting sincerely and genuinely in a manner that aligns with their true selves. And this approach fosters trust and promotes open communication within an organization. So why is it important? Crucial in today's professional landscape and also in Africa. Recently, I was engaged in one of the conversations, and we were talking about what comes to mind, what comes to individuals' mind when we hear about a leader. And people had different opinions.
Yeah.
Some way, a leader has to be strong. A leader has to be powerful. A leader has to know it all. And some other people say, I think a leader is a human being like us. They are understanding, they are empathetic, and they understand the strategic direction, and they try to bring people along into that direction. So I was like, so do they have to know it all? Do they have to be strong? Some said yes, others said no. Then they said if they knew it all, then there wouldn't be a need of a team. But the fact that there is Holly to do ABCD, there is person X to do ABC, is because no one knows it all, and we are here as a team to support each other. And they were like, then a leader doesn't have to know it all. So in today's rapidly evolving professional landscape, marked by increasing demand for engagement, collaboration, and ethical behavior, leadership has taken on a new dimensions. And with diverse generational makeup of the workforce and the digital transformation of the workplaces, expectations have also shifted.
Yeah.
Younger generations in particular, they seek more than just authority. They desire a sense of belonging. They want to be recognized. They want to feel visible, and they want to see opportunities for personal growth and challenge. And from an organizational standpoint, the imperative remains achieving strategic objectives. And at the heart of the pursuit are people, arguably the most valuable asset an organization possesses. So creating an environment that fosters productivity is paramount, and
Yeah.
leadership plays a pivotal role in this endeavor. So while we're dealing with people, they don't want, especially the current generation, they don't want someone to tell them, do this, do that, but they want people who can challenge them, people who is also willing to learn from them.
Mm.
So I think considering all the shift in this environment, we would say that authentic leadership is a powerful force in today's professional world, where it not only meet the evolving expectations of employees, but also seamlessly with strategic goals of the organization, resulting in a win-win scenario. So I think this is a high time where leaders have to embrace not just the authority perspective, but also be more human.
So I mean, and I love that you speak about the evolving and looking at leadership holistically, because we can't we as a species as a human race, we've had this hierarchy kind of approach to leadership very often. And
Yeah.
we really believe that leaders should know or have all the answers, always be right in everything, and that's not necessarily true. But I mean, how can you suggest that individuals cultivate authentic leadership qualities within themselves? What do you think that sort of starting point is?
I think one of the things to embrace authentic leadership is self-awareness.
Hmm.
You know, in coaching, we believe that every human being is resourceful.
Yes.
Every human being has potential within them. So number one, as we said in the definition, is leading from within, allowing your potentials, allowing your values, allowing your genuine self to come out as a leader. So number one, to cultivate authentic leadership is self-awareness. Understand who you are. Understand your strength. Understand your weaknesses, which may be areas of improvement. That's how we call it coaching. Understand your values, values that govern you. Understand your passions, your motivations, and triggers. So self-awareness is very key in cultivating authentic leadership. Number two, oh, you want to come to
Yeah.
that?
Yes, and I'm thinking that sort of leads us to question number three, where personal development plays an important role, because for us to really support everything you're mentioning now, your values, your beliefs, and how you show up, really speaks to how I personally develop myself to be able to stand in an authentic position and come from an authentic position. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. Because if I know myself, I know where my strength lies,
Yeah.
and I know the areas of improvement. And so what do I do with the areas of my improvement? Then that is where the personal development comes in. How am I going to develop? So there is a need to understand that authentic leadership is not a destination.
People
Right?
think, I'm going to get there, and then when I'm there, then I've arrived, and like, no.
Yeah, so it's a journey. It's a journey of growth and self-improvement. And it's self-awareness as an indicator of authentic leadership. It means that I'm fully aware. As an authentic leader, I'm fully aware of with the fact that I'm not perfect and I can't do it all on my own. So
Sorry, I just want to reiterate what you say there, and I just want to emphasize that because I think that's quite profound. Is self-awareness is an indicator to my authentic leadership.
yes,
And I
absolutely.
don't think a lot of people make that connection. They if we had to look, at authentic leadership as a conversation, as a theme, what are those indicators? And I think self-awareness is one of the substantial ones for us to be able to recognize that when
Yes.
I'm self-aware, it's a good indicator of how authentically I can show up for myself, for my environment, and what that sort of environmental awareness becomes.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're very right. Self-awareness is a great indicator for authentic leadership. So,
So I want to like just move to your next question. Yeah, what challenges individuals face when trying to embrace authentic leadership, and how can they overcome them? Because I think I've chatted to a number of leaders and coaches before around authentic leadership, and it's a very gray area a lot of the times, right?
yeah.
So what do you think what are some of the challenges individuals face trying to embrace that authentic leadership, and how can they overcome that?
Yeah, I think some of the challenges, I've also had some discussions with fellow leaders who are embracing authentic leadership. And some of the challenges that we faced, I could say maybe two. One is the fear of judgment.
Ah,
Yeah, being just for their true self. So it is important to understand that not everyone is going to understand. Not everyone is going to agree with your choice. So I would encourage leaders who are trying to embrace authenticity to not take it personal when they receive some critiques, some discouragement, but also to encourage them to focus on the bigger picture of the person they are becoming.
yeah,
It's also important to find probably a coach or a mentor, a strong support system that can, walk that journey with them to
yes,
be able to grow as authentic leaders. Number two that I have also observed is the cultural and organizational norms. It is important to acknowledge that organizational cultures can sometimes discourage authenticity, especially in hierarchy-driven cultures where hierarchy and ranks are emphasized. Leaders tend to get the pressure to maintain the authoritative figure, and in this case, expressions of doubt, seeking feedback from their subordinates, or even admitting their mistakes is seen as a weakness, which suppress their authentic selves to come out. So,
I just want to, on that point, Holly, do you sometimes also recognize or find that strong cultural countries who have I mean, South Africa, we have many cultures. It definitely exists here.
Yeah.
You find that strong cultural countries also have a not necessarily a problem, but very often experience that egocentric, that ego driven in men and women, when they're in a position of power, that
Yeah.
they, the the ego takes over and the authenticity shrinks away.
Yeah.
It does come from a cultural way that we've been brought up in
Yeah.
our cultures, that
Yeah.
certain people of power are more important, and therefore should be spoken to or respected in a certain way, and other people are not
Mm.
important. And I think that conversation is also, it's an African conversation, but it's definitely
Mm.
a conversation. And in
Yeah.
many cultures, there is that sort of hierarchy. But
Yeah.
if you, like you mentioned earlier, considering
Mm.
the workforce and the age that we're looking at, who are in the workforce, they're
Yeah.
not interested in hierarchy leadership,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you're very right. And I like the fact that you're back to how our organizations are hierarchical, and also how the shift, the evolution in the world of work
Yes.
that is happening also is demanding of a different kind of leadership.
Mm.
Because um, most of the times we are talking about performance, we are talking about productivity, we are talking about collaborative teams. And those values that we have highlighted also demand a certain kind of leadership.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how the egocentric way of leading. Of recent, I was with somebody. He's new in a managerial position, and he's like, Holly, I don't even know how I got into this position. I'm panicking.
Mm.
I don't even know what I'm doing, but I have to show my team that I know what I'm doing.
Mm.
And every time he was going into a strategic meeting, he could not sleep.
Yeah.
So we were having this conversation. I was like, what about you relaxing, accepting that, you do not know it all, but you're willing to learn. Where you do not know, allow a colleague to come in and stand in for you.
Mm.
So he was like, oh, really? Would that work? I was like, yeah, can you try it? So he tried it, allowing people who know the technical stuff to come in, present, and you know. And later on, I asked for a feedback. I was like, how did it go? He said, it was so relieving.
But it's true. It's true and also that speaking, just allowing for someone who's more technical than you are, and they have more.
Yeah.
That also that also speaks about your self-awareness and your ability
Yes.
to understand.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know all the answers. I am not, I'm not technically proficient in that way.
Yes.
And I think leadership, authentic leadership, is also knowing when to step back and to step away.
Absolutely.
So I think that's also a really good way of understanding how to overcome uh, ways to, that could be obstacles that stand in the way of authentic leadership.
Yeah. Also, allowing yourself to be vulnerable,
Mm.
like you said, accept that, I do not know it all, and I know somebody else who can step in. And with that, I just saw how authentic leadership, the impact of authentic leadership,
Mm.
it has an impact on you as an individual because you are leading from your strength and allowing other people to step into the areas where you're not good at. But on the other hand, you're actually doing the leadership duties, empowering others, delegating, and
Yes.
also multiplying the leaders of tomorrow.
Yes, I often have the saying that for me, leadership is easy because when you
Yeah.
understand that leadership great leaders create more great leaders. That's what leadership is, right? And
Absolutely.
when you think of leadership as, well, how do I create a leader from this person? Uh,
Mm.
then you're creating another leader in the world, not only in your environment, but in the world. And we need more leaders in the world who are able to think for themselves and create and show up and be vulnerable and be authentic, right?
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, last question I want to ask for today's chat is how do you think that we can all organizations can promote a culture that supports authentic leadership and personal development?
Number one, it's, the saying from John Maxwell that everything rises and falls on leadership. So,
Literally, every
yeah, so it has all to start with the leadership.
yes,
The top leadership's commitment to authenticity sets the tone for the entire organization.
yeah,
Yeah, so I think it has to be the commitment of the top management to embrace the authentic leadership and also walk the talk, be authentic themselves. Yeah. And number two, is training. We have said authentic comes with self-awareness. And when you're fully aware, then you have areas of improvement.
yeah,
So it's important that organizations be willing to invest in leadership development of their leaders to gain knowledge, skills, and insights they need to embrace authentic leadership and lead in a genuine and effective manner. So this may include um, investing in coaching sessions,
yeah.
workshops, seminars, and different tools that allow leaders to grow in their leadership role, but also grow as individuals. Um, Number three is to promote a culture of feedback and recognition.
Mm,
So as a coach, you understand the self-awareness part is not just about me.
yeah,
It's about how am I perceived by the teams and other stakeholders that I work with. So cultivating a culture of regular feedback can encourage employees to embrace their true self and also allow people to highlight their areas of strength, their areas of improvement, and continue the performance of performance conversations on how am I growing in my authenticity as a leader. So the culture of feedback is very important and also rewarding
mm,
the behavior that we want to see in leaders. And lastly is organizations to enable flexibility and autonomy. And this
yes,
addresses the challenge of organizational cultures that may hinder authenticity. We talked
mm,
about that. The,
yeah,
so human beings are resourceful. We believe that as coaches, and human beings are full of potentials. That's why we hire them to do
yeah,
the work, is because we believe in their abilities, we believe in their potentials. So to unlock their potentials and resourcefulness as organizations, there is a need to create a room of flexibility and empower our people, allow them to express their individuality and unique strength to drive organizational success.
I love that. I think that's amazing. Um, Thank you. I appreciate everything that you could share with us. So, I mean, Holly, if you had to summarize everything in just one thought, and I know it's not, you haven't prepared for it, but off the top of your head, um, what would be the one sort of takeaway that you really want people to understand about authentic leadership?
Authentic leadership, one way that I also learned from you today is leadership is easy.
Mm.
And if we can allow leaders to be themselves, leaders to lead from within, we can have more collaborative team. We can create more environments that allow people to thrive and drive organizational success.
I love that. Thank you. Holly Louise, I must say your surname correct, Holly Louise Irasubiza. I hope that's correct. And you're all the way from Rwanda. And thank you for joining me on the Lunchtime series to talk about authentic leadership. I love that. And I think it really adds wonderful value to the conversation. And it helps people rethink about how to implement and what they are doing about their own authentic leadership. Holly Louise, thank you so much for joining me, and I will chat to you soon. Have a fantastic week, and thanks for being here.
Thank you, Kevin, for having me. Look forward to more chats.
Cheers for now. Bye-bye.
Bye.